Well, Meghan Markle would be eligible for permanent residency if the couple moved to Canada. The same does not apply, however, to Prince Harry. He, like their son, would be Markle's accompanying dependents according to Canadian law. On Monday, we heard that Queen Elizabeth has given the blessing, her blessing rather, for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to move, but questions remain as to why they might choose Canada as opposed to the US. Let's speak now to Canadian immigration lawyer Nicholas Avramis. We'll get to him in a moment, but first, let's hear what residents in Canada are saying about the royals moving over there.
I think the monarchists will be very happy. Perhaps in the light of them being so famous, this is that the light will then be on Canada, and we'll be able to show all the amazing things that we do in this country.
Who should pay for their security?
The UK government, I think, because they're still tied to the royals, even if they leave a little.
My views on royalty are probably best not aired, but I feel sad that these young people can't choose their life as they would like it to be.
All right, I'm sure you heard what people had to say there, Nicholas, but let me ask you, what's the process now for the royals to actually move to Canada?
Thanks so much for having me. It's always great to be on the NCA. I think it's important for people to understand that despite Meghan and Harry's royal status, their citizenship doesn't give them any preferential treatment in the Canadian immigration system. So they're going to have to immigrate through the proper visa programs that they're eligible for, just like anyone else.
Yeah, so Meghan Markle, of course, recorded the series Suits in Canada. Will that work to her advantage in any way? Because we know that she would apply for a special visa given her talents as an actress.
So the irony in all of this is that Harry on his own isn't the best candidate for immigration to Canada, unless he's prepared to go through business immigration. So Meghan really is the best vehicle for them to immigrate. Since she worked in Canada on a work permit for 7 years filming Suits in Toronto, she's gained valuable Canadian work experience. Hence, she's eligible for what we call the Canadian Experience Class Visa for those people who have had at least 12 months work experience in Canada. And she can generate enough points in the express entry system for her to come in as a permanent resident. Harry being her husband, he'll come in as a dependent. So that's one theoretical way they can come in.
And then let's talk about why Canada. You, of course, an immigration lawyer for Canada. People seem to think it's a pretty peachy life. Many arguing, wondering rather, why they're going to Canada instead of the U.S.
That's an excellent question. So let's quickly unpackage that. I think one thing's for sure is both for Meghan and Harry, there's a natural affinity towards Canada, specifically Toronto. Meghan worked there. Harry would go visit her there. They have a lot of friends there. Harry had his Invictus Games hosted in Toronto. So they feel very comfortable in the major cities in Canada. And of course, Canada's a great place to live. It's a wonderful place for them to raise their son, Archie. Now, as an immigration consultant, I would say the logical place for them to end up is the United States. Meghan is an American citizen. Harry can easily get a green card through his spouse. However, that's a bit of a touchy subject if you think about it. Harry is sixth in line to the throne. In the next few years, Charles will presumably be the King of England, and he will be son to the King. For the son of the King of England to have status in the U.S. as a permanent resident or citizenship is a bit of a touchy thing, and I don't know how well that would go over. It's just something that really would not sit well. Hence, Canada, being a member of the Commonwealth, having historical ties to the UK, is something a little bit more palatable to the palace.
Yeah. So I know you said it will be a little bit difficult for Prince Harry to actually move to Canada. Why, though? Because it looks like, I mean, anyone would want the royals in their country, right? We would love them in South Africa, I know.
Well, that's an excellent question, and you have to understand Canada and how the way the Canadian people think. The easiest way for Harry and Meghan to enter Canada is by the minister granting them permanent residency. The Immigration Act in Canada provides the minister with extraordinary powers to allow people in the country, but this is not going to happen. Canadians pride themselves on being an egalitarian country, and queue jumping will not be tolerated or accepted. So there's going to be a great amount of scrutiny on how these two individuals, whether they're royals or not, legally enter the country.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and your insight. We appreciate it. That's Canadian immigration lawyer and expert Nicholas Avramis.